In this video, let's see the topic on penetration test. First of all, myself, B. Chalapriya, Assistant Professor Civil, Rohini College of Engineering and Technology, Palkulam. So, first one, penetration test. The penetration test is conducted to measure the resistance of various soil strata. There are three types of tests: standard penetration test, static cone penetration test, and dynamic cone penetration test. First test is standard penetration test. Standard penetration test is represented as SPT and it is commonly used as in situ test for subsoil investigation. So it consists of a sampler, hammer with a weight of 65 kg and a drilling rod for drilling purposes and a driving tool. So apparatus it is split spoon sampler, driving assembly, extension rod and drilling equipment. So procedure, first a borehole is drilled by using a drilling rod at a required depth. Next the sampler is attached to the extension rod and is lowered to the borehole. Next the driven assembly is then connected to the sampler and by a light blows by using a hammer. It is blows for a free fall height of 750 mm until the penetration of 150 mm. For 150 mm penetration, the number of blows requires are to be counted. And once again, the sampler the blows are to be continued until the hammer penetrate for next 150 mm. And further also one more time, that is 150 mm penetration. The last 1 to 150 mm penetration, that is 300 mm penetration, the number of blows requires are to be recorded and that value is recorded as n value, that is penetration number. So there are two corrections, that is dialency correction. Next one is overburden pressure. Dialency correction is NC equal to 15 plus 1 by 2 NR minus 15. Here NC is a corrected value and NR is a recorded value. If NR is less than 15 means then NC equal to NR. Second one is overburden pressure. Overburden pressure is NC equal to NR into 350 divided by sigma naught bar plus 70. Here sigma naught bar is nothing but effective overburden pressure. So for cohesive soil, by taking a penetration value by conducting a SPT, for cohesive soil means if the penetration value is less than of 2 and unconfined compressive strength is less than of 2.4 means then the consistency is very soft. If the penetration value is 2 to 4 and compressive strength is 2.4 to 4.8 means then the consistency is soft. If penetration value is 4 to 8, compressive strength is 4.8 to 9.6 means then the consistency is medium. If penetration value 8 to 15, compressive strength is 9.6 to 19.2 means consistency is stiff. If penetration resistance value is 15 to 30 and unconfined compressive strength is 19.2 to 38.8 then the consistency is very stiff. If the penetration value is more than 30 and unconfined compressive strength is more than 38.8 means then the consistency of soil is hard. Similarly for cohesionless soil, the corrected N value and pi degrees are given in the table. And another one is relation between N value, density index and degree of compaction are given. If N value is less than of 4 and density index is 0 to 15 mean degree of compaction is very loose. If N value is 4 to 10 and density index is 15 to 13 means degree of compaction is loose. If N value is 10 to 30 and density index is 35 to 65 then the degree of compaction is medium. If N value is 30 to 50 and density index is 65 to 85 then the degree of compaction is dense. If N value is more than of 50 and density index is 85 to 100 means degree of compaction is very less. Next one is static cone penetration test. So static cone penetration test is also called as cone penetration test. Here there is a continuous record of variation of penetration resistance with depth. Here no sample is required from this test. Here the cone is used with an apex angle of 60 degree with a base diameter of 35.7 mm. Here it is made up of with steel which is attached to a steel rod of 50 dia which is passing through a steel mantle tube. The steel mantle tube size which is equal to the cone diameter, and the cone is pushed into the ground by manually or using hydraulic operated driving mechanism. Here the obtaining cone resistance value is denoted as QC. Here the cone is pushed in vertically at a rate of 2 cm per second through a depth of 4 cm each time, and the pressure required for pushing is recorded as QC, and the resistance to a mantle tubes are to be recorded, that is friction is recorded separately. Here the cone resistance variation with the depth are to be plotted to identify the different strata. In recent year, SCPT has been modified as a piezo cone. It gives a simultaneous measurement of cone resistance, side friction, pore water, etc. The CPT has three main applications to determine the subsurface stratification, to estimate geotechnical parameter, to provide result. For grains in soil, Cu equal to QC divided by Nk. Here QC is a measured cone resistance, Nk is 70 to 18 minutes for normal consolidate and 20 for over consolidated clay. So next, the correlation between cone penetration test and SPT is given in this table. If the soil type is silt, sandy silt, silty and cohesive silty sand mixture means Qu by N is 2. If the soil type is clean, fine to medium sand and silty sand means Qu by N is 3 to 4. Coarse sand and sand with little gravel means Qu by N is 5. Sandy gravel and gravel means Qu by N is 6. Next test is dynamic cone penetration test. It is similar to the SPT test, but it is conducted without a borehole. This test is done by driving a standard 60% cone which is attached at the drilling rod into the soil by a blows of 65 kg of hammer with a free fall height of 750 mm. The number of blows for every 30 cm penetration of the cone is recorded, and the number of blows required for 30 cm of penetration of cone is recorded as a cone resistance value, that is NC. And DCPT is performed in two ways: using 50 mm cone without bentonite slurries or using 62.5 mm cone with bentonite slurry. Here, using 50 mm dia cone with bentonite slurry means the cone is fitted to a driving rod, that is A rod. The hammer head is joined to the driving rod, other end of the driving rod, with a coupling, and a guided rod 150 mm is connected to a hammer head. Then the assembly is kept vertically and it is inserted into the ground for testings. The cone is driven by a drop hammer, and driving is continuously till the cone reaches to a required depth. If you are using 62.5 mm cone with bentonite slurry means the setup may be made with arrangement of circulation of slurry so that the friction on the drilling rod is eliminated. So the NC value of DCPT and N value of SPT can be compared and approximate correlation can be established for this site. So with the help of this correlation, the data from DCPT at other location can be deduced to know the value of N, and this type of work is adequate for small structure and useful for preliminary exploration of extensive sites. So in this video we have seen about the penetration test, that is standard penetration test, that is SPT, and static cone penetration test, that is CPT, and dynamic cone penetration test, DCPT, with their values. Thank you.